She said, well, sorry, maybe next time. When you talk to people who have received blood, they thank donors for prolonging their life, for the memories you've given them, to spend some more time with friends and family, for allowing them to see their son's graduation, for allowing them to celebrate yet another birthday, for seeing their grandkids, and those are priceless moments that money can't buy. I've been fortunate enough to meet some unsung heroes in all 10 regions in Ghana through the Rotary Nationwide Blood Donation Campaign, which I championed, and also in my role as the ambassador for the National Blood Service Ghana. In Bolga, I met a 37-year-old man who had donated 38 times. In Tamale, there was a family of donors. All of them had donated about the last 10 years, except the youngest, who was 16, because you have to wait till you're 17 to donate, and she couldn't wait to donate. Other places, there were some with rare blood type, so they had given their numbers to the blood bank, so the blood bank can call them when they needed them. Just here in Greater Accra, when you go around Dodowa, in Ganata, you see students running to the van when they see the blood bank coming, because they know the importance of giving. They have a Club 25 on campus, which means that some members of the club have pledged to donate at least 25 times in their lives. And as at SS3, some had already donated 9 times. I understand that not everyone can give. And again, when you go to Kolebo, you find Mr. Bano, who's about 60 years and has already donated 80 times. Fear is one of the many reasons why people can give. Fear of the unknown, fear of superstition, fear of the needle, fear of pain. But today we are being reminded that do not fear, right? So let's live by the theme. A lot of times we think that, oh, and to me, you'll be asem. But imagine that if it was a loved one on that hospital bed, wouldn't that love you have for that person override the fear? As we know, as it said in the Bible, for as long as you do it for the least of my brothers, you do it for me. When you talk to people who donate the first time, they tell you how seamless it is. What took them so long to donate? And sometimes they want to give you the other arm to donate because they realize that they should have done that ages ago. I want to congratulate the Temabato and Osudinris for embarking on the blood donation exercise this Monday. Osu had about 61 donors and Temabato about 119. And between the two Dinris, 180. Please clap for them. Fortunately for some of us who haven't been able to do that, the blood bank hit their call. I'm hoping that we also know that givers never ever lack. So as a donor, there are some benefits for you which most people don't know. It helps prevent heart and liver ailment. It boosts production of new blood cells. It promotes good health. It reduces your risk of suffering a heart attack. It reduces your risk of developing cancer. You get free medical screening in the process. You receive a donor card, a sense of pride that you've been able to save other people. You also get to know your blood group, which is very important because in terms of crisis, even if you don't know your blood group, they now have to find your blood group. And at the time they find it, that pint of blood, which might have been your blood group, might be gone. You also get free counseling. And then sometimes you also get to know your blood level, because there are people who come giving blood, realizing that sana mampo amenamhon, mampo mihiya moja. Some other interesting facts about blood is that blood expires every 35 days. So we constantly have to give. You can donate every 4 months, and even the blood in our system gets old after a while. So why don't you give it out to get life? Because really the volume of blood comes back to you within a day or two. It's the blood cells that take a little longer to mature. So a pint of blood, which is about less than 1 sachet, because the sachet is 500 ml and this 450 ml, can save up to 3 lives. And you can donate between the ages of 17 to 60. So it's not up to us to say, I'm too small, I'm too tiny, I don't have enough blood. Once you get there, the nurses are going to do the medical screening and advise you. And like I said, the act of giving life is the greatest gift any person can give or receive. And that was by the WHO Director General who said that. There are others I know who can't generally give because of health reasons. But there's so many ways we can all support the cause. You can either sponsor a blood drive. You can ask somebody else to give on your behalf. If your school is currently not giving blood, please champion for that to happen, because the schools are one of our biggest drivers, to the extent that when the schools go on break, the blood bank runs dry. I'm always touched when we have potential donors take it personally. And I'm just going to end with a quote from one of the schools I went to where one student couldn't give blood. And that was Achimota School. And I quote, says, "I could not donate blood today even though I was very hurt. I couldn't and felt like crying because I know that even someone had to shed his blood that I may be saved. Even now, do not wish to know me, but the one who sent me, Jesus Christ. I love because he first loved. Please love. I could not give blood, but I give you someone even greater, Jesus Christ. God bless you." And unquote. I donated for the first time on the 13th of February of last year, and that was my Valentine's Day gift to somebody I would never ever meet in my life. I've also pledged to donate at least 25 times if God gives me long life and good health. On behalf of the National Blood Service Ghana, and on behalf of all the patients in the hospital who are anxiously waiting for you to save their lives, I also want to say thank you, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Mami Kwaba Stevens, for this message. Thank you very much. So we've heard something nice from the choir, and so we want to hear something from the cultural troupe too. Are you ready for us? Cultural troupe, are you ready for us? We are ready for you too. Thank you very, very much, our cultural troupe. Thank you. I hope you all enjoyed it. Did you like it? Did you like it? Oh, did you like it? No, the cultural troupe didn't hear that. I think they did a wonderful job. So we'll take that with us. We are grateful to have you.
Reverend fathers, brothers, sisters, and my fellow youth. Youth! Indeed, there is power in action. I speak on behalf of the past GANSEC executives. In fact, we, the past chairman of GANSEC, are very, very excited this morning as we deem this program a homecoming, which reminds us of the yesteryear's feelings of the activities we had with the youth. I just want to give you a brief history of what we are witnessing today. The World Youth Day Ghana version idea was to stage the first ever Ghana World Youth Day celebration at KNUST. And I'm happy to inform you I was the chairman of the first celebration. We are very happy because the seed we planted some years ago is now bearing fruit, which we are all witnessing. Mr. Chairman, the theme for this occasion, do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God, is most timely and appropriate. As we are all aware, the youth of today are faced with myriad of challenges. We can talk of unemployment, we can talk of substance abuse, homosexualism, and the like. But in the face of all these challenges, the good Lord is assuring us never to be afraid. There is a maxim in Latin which says, dum spero spero. Once you breathe, you hope. Simply put, once there is life, there is hope. So we as the past chairman of GANSEC are telling the youth of today never to be afraid, as the good Lord is admonishing all of us. Never lose hope. Nil desperandum. You definitely make it in whatever you are doing, because with God all things are possible. We will not take much of your time. All we want to say is to assure you that there is hope. We wish you a fruitful celebration, and we say, may the good Lord bless us all. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much for being with us today. So our program is heavily pregnant because we still have another person to give us a goodwill message. So from Mr. Vincent Della Salome, who is the Grand President of Accra West Grand Commandery. Thank you for coming to be with us. Please, with a round of applause, let's welcome him. Let's welcome him. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, my Lord Bishops, our priests and sisters and brothers present, invited guests, the youth. You are not responding well enough. The youth. The youth. Good morning all. We are here this morning bringing you felicitations from the Knights of St. John International and the Ladies Auxiliary. Matters of the youth are very important to us as knights and ladies because we consider the youth as the future of the church in its growth and development. And for this matter, the knights and ladies, there are certain positions that are not elective are by appointment. And the appointments are made by the presidents to ensure that the presidents take direct responsibility of matters concerning the youth. So when we received the invitation, we're very glad to be part of it, and seeing so many of the youth here gladdens my heart that the church has a future. I hope we'll take this opportunity to build networks, not only within our regions, but out of our regions, and to develop platforms that will enable us to communicate and share ideas and remain committed to our cause as Catholics. It is very disappointing to see that the religious space has been adulterated by a very high level of greed and lust, insatiable lust for money. And we seem to forget the promise to Our Lady that she shouldn't be afraid, which is the theme of this Youth Day celebration. The Lord assures us that we should not be afraid because He's always there with us. And whatever we are doing, we must remain committed to it. We have God in our church as a Catholic church. We should not be distracted by what happens around us, because I am sure after all these years in the Catholic Church that what is in the Catholic Church is about the best. On this note, I wish you fruitful deliberations and celebration, and hope that your conference or the Youth Day celebration is successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So for this program, Radio Angelos is the official online radio for the Archdiocese of Accra, and they are streaming live this program on TV and online. On TV is tv.accracatholic.org and Radio Angelos of Accra. Thank you very much, Radio Angelos.
Shall we put hands together for our last speaker? Very soon we will be wrapping up with a part 2 of today's event, and to finally wrap up all the addresses, we have going to welcome in a very special way our own father, who is in the person of Most Reverend Gabriel Palmer Buckle. Most Reverend Gabriel Charles Palmer Buckle. He is the Metropolitan Archbishop of the Catholic Archdiocese of Cape Coast, and also the Apostolic Administrator of the Catholic Archdiocese of Accra. He is also the Vice President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference. With a stand ovation, shall we welcome our Archbishop, please. Let's show some love. Thank you.
Please sit. And I'm sure some of you know the Archbishop Charles Palmer Buckle very well. He always begins with a joke. The last speaker, Mr. Delan Selomi, and I are literary cousins. We grew up together in the same primary school. And I'm sure he remembers one of the jokes, which I want to say, because when he said, "the youth," you didn't respond. And he had to say, "I'm not hearing you well." And then he said it again before you responded. Dela will remember that our Catholic cathedral is not too far from the mental hospital, Adabraka. And one day we are told that the mental patients in that place, they have an evening together when they tell jokes. And it seems those patients who'd been there all the time, they had been telling particular jokes. Each one has a joke. So they decided very intelligently, instead of repeating the joke, to give a number, a code. In the days when barcode was not there, they already had a barcode. So if somebody said number 12, they all knew the joke and they laughed. If another person said number 1, they all knew the joke and they laughed and laughed over. And apparently the director had been watching them. In the afternoon when they finish eating, they sit down. One will say number 3 and they go and laugh. Beating their chest and pointing at one another. Number 12. So he decided to join them. One day he joined them. And he said number 7. Nobody laughed. Then another one said number 7 and they all started laughing. And then he said number 5. Nobody laughed. Then he asked one of them, why is it that when I said number 7 nobody laughed? When he said number 7 you all laughed. Then one said, because number 7 is not your joke. Then he said, but why is it that when I said number 5, you all didn't laugh? When he said number 5, you laughed. And he said, because it's not everybody who can tell a joke. So, youth, you. This is a good case of mental hospital. Youth! You see, I belong to the mental hospital there. And now let me see those of you who were here last night. Arise, Catholic youth. Arise, Catholic youth. Arise, Catholic youth. It's just with joy that I am with you. When you are with the young people, you become very young. And I would drop all the protocol and say that I'm speaking on behalf, 1, of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, 2, on behalf of myself as the host Archbishop, and then number 3, I'm standing in for the keynote address speaker who for one reason or could not come. And so I have chosen just to do a little catechesis on the World Youth Day theme, which is, do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God. I would like you, my young people, to know that when they distribute this document to you, the brochure, it is in the Pope's message for you. And so I'm going to give you a little catechesis on it, and I believe by the time I finish, if you get it, you will be happy to read it. Our Holy Father, the Pope, begins with saying, dear young people, the World Youth Day 2018 represents another step in preparation for the International World Youth Day that will take place in Panama in January 2019. So there are 2 good events that are going to happen. This year in October, there is the Synod of Bishops on the Youth. And you are preparing for it. And next year in Panama, January, there's going to be the International World Youth Day. So the theme for the International World Youth Day, the Synod rather, is young people, the faith and vocational discernment. You will get it in the document. And the Holy Father is inviting you and me for this 33rd World Youth Day to reflect on, do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor. The focus is on Mary. And I'd like you to bring your mind to the fact that Mary we are talking about was a young girl of maybe 15 or 16. when the angel Gabriel approached her and said to her that you are to be the mother of the Savior. Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God. So, young people, the Holy Father has chosen this theme, which was said by God through the angel Gabriel to a young woman, a young girl like many of you. Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God. And your president chairman, Bishop Emmanuel Fianu, said, youth, do not be afraid, for you have found favor with the Lord your God. That is what I want you to understand. It is being addressed to you because it was addressed to your peer, Mary, the Virgin of Nazareth. Do not be afraid. I'm just going to go through a few of the points that the Holy Father said for you and me. He said, and I quote, do not be afraid, because God knows your inmost heart. Do not be afraid, young people, for God knows well the challenges you must confront in life, especially when you are faced with fundamental choices on which depend who you will be and what you will do in this world. He says, do not be afraid. I think we have heard from other speakers some of the fears of being a young person. The Holy Father goes on to say that today there are many young people who feel the need to be different from who they really are, in an attempt to adapt to an often artificial and unattainable standard. He goes on to say they continuously Photoshop their images, their role models, almost becoming fake to themselves. And I'm sure this is what many of you are living. He says many are obsessed by receiving many likes as possible. Others fear that they will not be able to find an emotional security and they will remain alone. Many, faced with the uncertainty of work, unemployment, fear not being able to find a satisfactory position or profession or fulfill their dreams. The Holy Father goes on to say today a large number of young people are full of fear, both believers and non-believers. Some think perhaps God is asking or will ask too much of me. Perhaps by following the road God has marked out for me, I will not be truly happy. Or I will not be able to do what God asks of me. The Holy Father says, others think, if I follow the path that God shows me, who can guarantee that I will be able to follow it through? Will I become discouraged? Will I lose my enthusiasm? Will I be able to persevere my whole life? And he says, in moments when doubts and fears flood our hearts, discernment becomes necessary. So there will be fears. There must be fears for believers and non-believers. But this is the time when we need to discern. And in the Holy Father's document, he says, for discernment, one, we must rely on God and prayer. Two, we must also consult other people when we are faced with the dilemma of choices. But three, he says, never doubt God, because even Jesus himself experienced fears and was able to overcome by relying on God. Do not be afraid. According to the Holy Father, you find it 365 times in the Bible. Either the same statement or its other version. 365 times. And this is what the Holy Father says. In the sacred scriptures, the expression, do not be afraid, is repeated 365 times with different variations, as if to tell us that the Lord wants us to be free from fear every day of the year. So the Holy Father says, young people, whilst you are praying, whilst you are scrutinizing the scriptures for discernment, whilst you are consulting, know that every day there is one statement: do not be afraid. I remember yesterday Archbishop Philip Name said, turn round to the one on your left and tell the person, do not be afraid. So may I invite you to do the same. Turn round to one person on your left and say to the person on your right, again. Thank you very much. The Holy Father then goes on to say that you need not be afraid, because I have called you by your name. I have called you by your name. So the angel said, do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God. So the Holy Father wants you, the young people, to know that God knows you. And God is calling you by name. Not just as one, but as unique. The psalmist in Psalm 139 tells us, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. So turn to the one you told, do not be afraid. Tell the person, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Again. Please, again. And then tell the other person, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Again. Let me tell you something you may find interesting. I found very interesting. Look at your thumb. Raise your thumb and let me see. We in Accra, when you raise your thumb, it means something else. But I'm not meaning the Ghana thumb raising. Raise your thumb. Look at your thumb. Do you know one thing that amazes me? Is that every thumbprint is unique. Are you aware of that? Are you aware of that? So before science came up with a barcode, God had given to each and every one of us a barcode, like in the mental hospital. Number 12. I want you to know that each barcode, your thumbprint, is so unique that out of the about 20 billion people that have existed so far on the earth, you are unique. You have never been, you will never be when you are gone. You are unique. So say to your friend, I am unique. Again. So when the scripture says, God says, I have called you by name, God wants you to know whoever you are, wherever you are, whether you are in Tuobodom, the most famous city in Ghana, or whether you are in Taviewedeme, or you are in Salvelugu Nantongma, or you are in Butumejebu. I love those names, you know. Or you are in Lasial Tuolo. I want want you to know God knows you. God has planted you there, and God knows you by name. So my sons, when he says, do not be afraid, Mary, I want each one of you to know that your name is known and you are precious in God's eyes. That is what the Holy Father says. He says, Mary, you have found favor with God. And I would like each and every one of you here to know you have found favor with God, and that is why he created you. Permit me, like the mental hospital guy that I am, to tell you something that one of the young people told me, and I have always enjoyed it. Do you know that each one of you is a conqueror? You are a winner. Do you know that? See, when they sing the song, winner, 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 Jesus is the winner, winner, Jesus is the winner, a winner. But you are also a winner, each and every one of you. Let us go into medical science. One of your young people, he amazed me with a statement that may sound funny and maybe even immoral, but I thought it was good. He said, biologically, when a man and a woman have sexual intercourse, the man emits about 3 million sperms at one ejaculation. And it is only 1 or 2 sperms that reach the egg, the ovum, and fertilizes. Now imagine we are in the sports stadium for 100 meters running, which means each sperm that reaches the 100 meters is a Usain Bolt. Are you aware that you have been a Usain Bolt? Are you aware of that? Have you ever sat down to think of that? So you have been a winner. God created you a winner right from the beginning. Amen. So I do not want you to think that you must be somebody else in order to be a winner, because you are already a winner from God biologically. Are you there? So turn to the next person and say, I am a winner. And turn to the other person and say, you are a winner. Turn to the person and say, I am unique. And tell the other person, you are unique. And therefore you have a unique responsibility that nobody else can fulfill except yourself. Are you aware of that? So to every favor comes a responsibility. Are you there? Are you there? That is why, my sons and my daughters, the Holy Father goes on to say, yes, our vocational path is not without crosses. Not only our initial doubts, but also the frequent temptations that crop up along the way. However, you have found favor with God, and may the favor dwell on you and yield the fruit that God expects of you. Amen. The last part, the Holy Father invites the youth to have courage in the present moment and to use all that they can, because they were created winners. They are unique and they must be ready to win. Permit me to digress from the Holy Father and add one little point. According to census in Ghana, 65% of the population is below 35 years of age. Are you there? 65% of our population is below 35 years of age. That is why we, the older ones, should not say that you are the future, you are the present. You are the present. We, the older ones, are only how much? 35%, am I right? We belong to what I call the Wetrim course. When they bring the coffin to the church, they start singing, Wetrim ko, Wetrim ko. And what's the reason? We are closer to the Wetrim ko level. You are the present. The Holy Father says it in his document, the first few paragraphs. We must let the young people know that they are God's present to the church, God's present to themselves, and God's present to humanity. So you, the young people, you are not only the future, you are the present. But you will be the future in as much as you invest in yourselves as the present. Youth! I thought you were dozing. Youth! Arise, Catholic youth. I am concluding by saying that the Holy Father says, just as God had confidence in a young girl by name Mary, the Virgin of Nazareth, and told her, do not be afraid, and changed her destiny, so that she could be of service to humanity. The Holy Father says every young person must feel the same way. Do not be afraid, John. Do not be afraid, Lisbeth. Do not be afraid, Jigbody. Do not be afraid. What other name? Because you have all found favor in God's eyes. But for you, our Catholic youth in Ghana, the Holy Father says, you have a vocation that you must find. You have a mission to fulfill. And that is why we are here with you. Let me conclude. He said to the young Mary was entrusted an important task, precisely because she was young. You young people have strength as you go through a phase of your lives where energy is not lacking. Make use of this strength and this energy to improve the world, beginning with the realities closest to you. The Holy Father says, I want important responsibilities to be given to you within the church. I think that one, my Lord Bishops, my dear old people, they are asking us to entrust important responsibilities to the youth. I repeat, Holy Father says, I want important responsibilities to be given to you, the youth, within the church, that there may be the courage to make space for you, and that you may be prepared to take on these responsibilities. I once again invite you to contemplate on Mary's love. A caring, dynamic, concrete love. A love full of boldness and focus completely on the gift of self. Listen very carefully. A love full of boldness and focus completely on the gift of love. On the gift of self. So the Holy Father, my dear young people, is inviting you to be selfless. Selfless. Permit me to make you laugh. You know, yesterday some of you wanted to take a photograph with me and you said, oh, Archbishop, selfie, and I said no. And you said, Archbishop, why? And I said, I am not selfish. I am getting worried that some of you are using the cell phone to become selfish, self-centered. I don't see why you have the possibility to share, and yet instead of one or two taking a photograph and sharing, everybody wants to take a photograph. Selfish, self-centeredness. The Holy Father is inviting you, the young people, to use the tools, computer, media, and all, and to be selfless in your service and love like Mother Mary. So I conclude by saying, do not be afraid, young people, for you have found favor with God. Youth! Youth! Arise, Catholic youth. Number 12. Your president, what do you call it here? The chairman, Bishop Emmanuel Fianu, says it's not 12. It's number 10.
Shall we do that once again for our Papa? This program has been very fruitful by the special grace of God and some benevolent institutions. Just to mention a few, we have MTN Ghana. Please, let's show some love for their support. We also have Decathlon. Let's put our hands together for them as well. And then we also have Voltic Mineral Water. Please, let's put our hands together for them. And then we also have some media partners who have helped us bring this program to. Let me quickly refer to my brochure, please, so that I don't skip anybody, please. So, namely, we have GH1. Please, let's do some love. We also have Vision 1 FM. Please show some love. We also have City 97.3 FM. Please, let's show some love. We have Star 103.5 FM. We also have Top TV. We have Radio Universe here in the University of Ghana campus. We have Atenka FM and Atenka TV as well. We have UTV. And then GTV.
So you are live on Radio Angelus, your reliable station for authentic Catholic teachings, news and events. You can get Radio Angelus on www.radioangelus.accracatholic.org. You can also download radio.net. We are coming your way from the University of Ghana, Legon, where we are carrying live the fourth version of the Accra World Youth Day on the theme, Do Not Be Afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God. My name is Emmanuel Kumache, and I am doing the commentary with
Mame Efua Osoro Adie. Catherine Derry.
I invite my sister. If you have your brochure, please refer to page 59 of the program where we have information on Panama.
Once again, I want to welcome you on Radio Angelus.
Is also organizing. The details are captured there. We encourage as many
Efua,
who wish to join this.
Can you tell me what has been your impression so far?
And then see the leadership.
Well, a very good morning to our listeners once again. This is the fourth version of the World Youth Day, Ghana version. Happening live at the Premier University in Ghana, the University of Ghana, at the Athletic Oval, and this is the opening ceremony. Yes, this is the Premier University. This is happening live at the Athletic Oval, and Radio Angelus brings you the live feed. And due to some technical challenges, God made man, and then man made machines, and man isn't perfect. So due to some few technical challenges, we couldn't bring you the live feed earlier. And unfortunately, the program is about to get to its ending. But then we would do well to bring you what we can. And so far, in the beginning of the program, we've had some cultural display and Buju Michael. Yes, he has also done justice, and then Miss Doreen Andor. We've had a strong administration. The dignitaries have arrived. We have some dignitaries present here, some bishops. I can see Most Reverend Kofi Fianu and the Bishop of the whole diocese, and His Grace Most Reverend Gabriel Charles Pamabako, the Apostolic Administrator of the Archdiocese of Accra, and the Archbishop of Cape Coast. I can also see the Minister for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Honorable Kofi Jamesi, was also here, but then has to take leave of us to attend cabinet meeting at Parliament. And then we also have the Auditor General, who is Mr. Daniel Yao Dome Levo, who also happens to be the chairperson for this ceremony. Also, we've had youth from various dioceses from across all Ghana, from all over Ghana. Let's quickly take the feed and we'll be back.
O ye mankind, I, God, created you from a man and a woman. And I gave you all the nice things. I gave you countries, I gave you animals, I gave you everything because I want you to live together in harmony. But he who is better in front of me is the one that fears God most. Not the president, not the minister, not the school prophet, but he who fears God most. 22% of Ghana's population currently is made up of the youth. Demographers are saying it will take Ghana, only God knows how many years more to get to this stage. I see opportunity. I see opportunity of transformation. I see opportunity of changing behavior. I see opportunity of changing the entire way that we do things. I see opportunity to make Ghanaians more responsible if you're able to capitalize on this opportunity that God has given us. Opportunity to educate our youth, opportunity to give them good manners, opportunity to ensure that we put the fear of the Lord in the youth, so that they will become responsible ministers, responsible presidents, responsible directors, and they would walk with the fear of the Lord. And corruption would definitely decrease when we are able to do this. On these notes, I bring the greetings of the National Chief Imam, and may the good Lord see us through this program successfully. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Osman Seydou.
Bonjour, chers auditeurs et auditrices de la radio catholique. Nous sommes à Legon, à l'Université catholique de Legon, à la journée mondiale de la jeunesse du Ghana, la 4e version. Et là, nous avons déjà commencé. Le thème du jour est Marie, n'aie pas peur, car tu as trouvé faveur aux yeux de Dieu. Tiré de Luc 1, verset 31. Nous pouvons remarquer que il y a plusieurs sponsors, entre autres la radio Angelus, Catholic Standard, MTN, etc. Merci.
Pronounce my name correctly. It's only in Ghana, where if you go beyond the certain boundaries, some say Domelevu, 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 they say all sorts of things. In fact, some even say Domelemle, then they end it. They say, wow. Domelevu, Domelevu. Very simple. Domelevu. Very simple. My Lord Bishops, Reverend Fathers, Reverend Brothers, Reverend Sisters, my dear Catholics, and especially the youth, I'm very touched with the messages that we have received this morning. I will not like to go through all of them any longer. But clearly, the message has come through that we, as a church, have to look to the spiritual growth of our youth. My Lord Bishops, I'll be making a statement and I'll repeat it here. In my considered opinion, knowledge has increased a lot. There's an increase in knowledge. Technology has also increased a lot. If we don't get the third leg, which is the fear of God, then we are creating weapons of mass destruction. Because one person can finish all of us one day. So I believe we need the fear of God. And it is again my considered opinion, my lords, that apart from the spiritual growth of the church also has a duty to provide moral guidance to the church. And when things are wrong, irrespective of who is promulgating it, we should say it as it is. I was really touched when I was on my assignment in Malawi, and there was a call for allowing same-sex marriage and all sorts of those rights, which you know better than I do. And the Catholic Church stood up under the leadership of the bishops. They walked the streets in front of the reverend fathers and sisters and the laity, and went to parliament and told them that this country is ours. You can't bring what we don't believe in. And the speaker had no option than to assure them that as long as I remain the speaker of this parliament, that discussion will not even come. We will not have discussion. So I would like to encourage my Lord Bishops and the priests here that let's say it as it is, because the devil has developed several tools with which it is working aggressively towards destroying the same people we think we are in charge of. And it's very disturbing. As the Auditor General of Ghana, I cannot take my seat without talking about corruption. It is my constitutional mandate to ensure that the resources of Ghana are used for the intended purposes and for the people of Ghana, not for one person's personal economic recovery program. That has become the order of the day. How many of our church people have we not seen transform within a year because they've taken political position? We should be able to call them and tell them, you are being corrupt. Because your salary cannot buy you a V8. There is no way your salary can buy you the house in which you are staying. And let's not invite them to chair our church harvest. I would like to plead and say that, taking a cue from the team for today's or this gathering, do not be afraid, Mary. We should all not be afraid to say it as it is. Some people say that I'm not political in my speech, and I say I didn't take a political position. I'm holding a professional position. And therefore, I will not stop at anything than to say it as it is. If by the grace of God I should die for that, I think God will be merciful to me and accept me. So my colleague professionals here, I would like to say that don't be afraid. Professionals have let us down in this country. When I joined the public service of Ghana in 1991, I was part of the first team of chartered accountants engaged by the government to bring professionalism into the financial management in the public sector. Those days, there was corruption. But it is not as grand as it is today. Now we have more professionals. In fact, Controller and Accountant General alone have more than 300 chartered accountants. My office has about 250 chartered accountants professionalizing the stealing. Now the stealing has become professional. Corruption has become the order of the day. And if we don't check it, in fact, why I'm worried about corruption, people don't understand it, is that Ghana has enough revenue to develop far above where we are. I was talking to a political person yesterday, and I was telling him that, do you know that the budget of Rwanda is about a fourth of ours? And if you go to Rwanda, you can't help than to admire them, unless you close your eyes. Once you open your eyes, you say, this country is a good country. You see order, you see orderliness, and more above, you see cleanliness. Everything is clean. And their budget is about a fourth of ours. So what are we doing with ours? Personal Economic Recovery Program. And I would like to plead, if my Lord Bishops and the priests, you can all say it as it is, the majority of the people are with you in your church. Many times when we go to meeting, I look at them and I see almost a huge number of them are Catholics. Not only Christians, Catholics. They are Catholics. And at the end of the day, the money we should go to construct our roads are going into their pocket. And hence, our roads are bad. The money for the hospitals are in people's pockets, and hence you go to the hospital. And what I'm trying to say is that corruption is killing the society more than any disease. We should know that. And therefore we should call that word by its name and shame it. That is the reason why under my leadership, the Ghana Audit Service will not stop at looking for where corrupt practices are. And we will say it as it is. Till the day you hear I'm no more. But we will not stop the fight. And what disturbs me most is when I see the youth. Can I also try? Youth. So my Lord Bishop, I got it right. I didn't add there. So there is power in action. Can you show me by hands those who are unemployed? My Lord, you can see. Unemployed. The unemployed youth. My Lord, and some people are more than 70 years. They don't want to go home. The Constitution of Ghana says when you are 60 years, you go on pension. The president can give you 2 years and 1, which means after 65, you have no business being on the payroll. But there are plenty on the payroll, including where we are, this university. If you know the number of pensioners who are on their payroll, you'll be surprised. My lords, that's why the Ghana Audit Service is doing a payroll audit. We are auditing the payroll. And at the end of the payroll audit, we will tell Ghanaians, those who should not have been on the payroll but are on the payroll, that is the ghost. We will bring the ghosts out. I am told some people say that they have been removed from the payroll and they resurrected 3 times or 2 times. And I said they should wait for them to die this time and they'll see if they can resurrect again. Because my Lord, I have power under the Constitution, which I'm going to activate. If I activate clause 7 of Article 1A7 to disallow your existence on the payroll, it's only a high court which can rule that come back. And that's what I'm going to do. Once you are declared a ghost, I'll activate my mandate. And I have to meet you with my lawyers in court. My Lord, again, after the payroll audit, we will let Ghanaians know those who are over age and still on the payroll. So when you see them, you can see them. Because the question is, why should somebody at the age of 70 refuse to go home, and we have all these people unemployed. And Ghanaians don't get why I'm angry about those people. Let me explain the source of my anger. It's not just because of them not giving opportunity to others to be employed, but they are expensive. They are very expensive. Some of them, their pensions are bigger than your salaries. So they are receiving monthly pensions. And again, they receive salary. It doesn't make sense to me. In fact, in many countries where common sense is common, if you are a pensioner and you have to be employed or engaged again by government, they suspend your pension until you go back as a pensioner. Ghana, they take the two. They take the monthly pension and the salary. And when you question, they say no law prohibits it. So we can do anything. So at least at the end of our exercise, we will draw attention. I also want to use the opportunity to plead with you. If you know of those ghosts, immediately my team arrive in your region, provide us with the information. Provide us with the information of the ghosts which are working for government. Please, I'm happy to hear you are ready. Be ready. We have just finished with Cape Coast or Central Region. In 2 weeks' time, we will be in Western Region. So Western Region, be ready with the ghost names. Help us with the ghost names. We will mention or announce on TV and radio as we move on from region to region. Please be bold and tell us who the ghosts are. We will go after them, remove them from the payroll. And let me share another information which makes it disturbing with you. My Lord Bishops, if you look at the government expenditure on payroll, it's about 45% of our total receipts. The total number of payroll is just a little bit above 600,000. So we are using about half of our resources on about 600,000 people. What about the 28 million? That is the reason why we can't fight and develop this country. People don't work and they are on the payroll. People have left, they are still on the payroll because at the end of the month, they come and take the money and share with the headmaster or the head of the hospital, etc. So they go away doing other things, but they are still on the payroll. So how can we recruit our youth who are here? Youth, please give us the name of the ghost. I know you know them. You know that this was a teacher, now he's a banker. But he's still on the payroll. Just provide the information for us. My Lord Bishops, I would like to bring my speech to an end by thanking all the speakers and say it is time for us to call corruption by the name fearlessly. And I think we, those who mean well, we outnumber the bad people. The problem is because of our inaction. Let's take action now and make Ghana a better place. Thank you very much.
So that was the chairperson's closing remarks. The chairperson, that was Mr. Daniel Yao Dome Levo, who is the Auditor General of Ghana. And gradually we are bringing the opening ceremony to a close. And quickly, let's go through the various dioceses that are present here. We have pilgrims from the Rialso Catholic Diocese. We have pilgrims from the Koforidia Diocese, from the Goso Diocese.
Thank you again. Okay, so all too soon, we are coming to an end. A lot of people have done so many things, and so I will invite Mr. Bismarck-Tay to give the vote of thanks. Thank you again.
from the Keta Akachi Diocese, pilgrims from Kumasi Archdiocese, Cape Coast, Damango, Accra, Rioso, Donko Krom, Konongo Mampong, Tamale, Techiman, Takrade, from Ho, from Navrongo, Bogatanga, Jasikan, and then finally the Wa Diocese. And these pilgrims have been lodged at what we call in the University of Ghana at the diaspora, at the Dr. Hila Liman Hall, where the females from some of these dioceses are, and the males at Elizabeth Frances C. Hall, and then we also have some females at the Alexander Kwapon Hall, and then the males at Jean Nelson Aka Hall. These pilgrims have been hosted here since the beginning of the World Youth Day Ghana version, which began on Wednesday, on Thursday. And let's take the
freedom of
vote
thought
of thanks
and its integrity, which is an inspiration to all of us young people here, that wherever we aspire to be, we should stand on the truth, and not only stand on it, but speak it and live it. Thank you very much, Chairman, for all you are doing. I also want to thank our keynote speaker, His Grace, our father, the Metropolitan Archbishop of Cape Coast, who doubles as our host Archbishop, for the deep words, for the catechesis, for educating us on what our theme means, and for all the meetings. So many times we've met you. You dedicated your time to listen to us, to guide us for the success of this program. We can only thank you. My special thanks also goes to our Episcopal Chairman, and through him to his colleague, for all the work they have been doing to help us as young people of Ghana Catholic Church to organize this program. I also thank all our other bishops and archbishops, those who are here and those who are not here, and also the priests and the religious for making time for us. We know sometimes as youth we can be very troublesome, but you exercise patience, you take us as your children, and you guide us. I also want to thank all our invited guests. I can't mention all of you one by one, but all those who came, those who gave goodwill messages, those who couldn't give goodwill messages, those who are here, those who are sitting among us, I want to thank all of you for making time to be here, for all your contributions towards the success of this program. I will also, at this point, thank our national leadership, headed by Mrs. Joyce, for the great leadership provided in organizing this program. Also to the steering committee, the local organizing committee, all the volunteers, everybody doing something for the success of this program, we say thank you. To all participants from every corner of Ghana gathered here, we know coming here, it isn't because you had nothing to do at home, but it's because of your understanding of the Catholic faith and what you hope to achieve by coming here. We ask the good Lord to continue to bless all of us, that our coming to this World Youth Day would have not only physical, but most importantly, spiritual benefits to all of us. I also want to thank our choirs for the good music, the cultural troupe, the media, for all the great coverage you are giving us, those who provided us with sound, the health team, our MCs, and then to everybody. If I've not mentioned your name, it's not an indication we don't appreciate what you have done. God, who sees all of us, what we do, will bless all of us. Thank you, and have a lively day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Archdiocesan Chairman, of the whole diocese. Please, let's put our hands together for him once again. Thank you. Just to add my voice to the many, I want us to say a very big prayer for our father and uncle, the Auditor General, so that I don't miss the name, even though I'm coming from where he's also coming from, so I don't do any mistake. And let's pray for him. Let's remember him in our prayers. If you have been following the media, he's always on fighting corruption. And it's not easy, those who want to fight corruption. if they are given the opportunity. So please, let's remember him in our prayers, that God will grant him divine strength. Finally, I want to add to the many acknowledgements to all our chaplains, the chaplains who are here from the various dioceses, and all the priests who have gathered here. Please, can we see you with a hand wave, please? All the chaplains and priests who have gathered here to support the fourth World Youth Day version. Many of them work behind the scene. And then I want to acknowledge in a very special way, on behalf, he worked together with Gansek and Adisek, in a very special way, the Assistant General Secretary of the National Catholic Secretariat. He is here in the person of Reverend Father Wisdom Lawe. Please, let's put our hands together for him. Father is seated behind there. Thank you very much, Father. God bless you. Now, some few announcements. Immediately after here, the agreement is that all programs are to have lunch here at the Athletic Oval. That is announcement number one. We are not to go to our various halls. Today is a marathon day. So please, to help us have a very smooth program, after here we go for lunch around here, we tidy up the place, and then we come back for our Google training session. We are going to learn how we youth, those doing bead making, soap making, and all these small handiworks, how do we use Google to market them? How do we use social media to market our goods? We have an expert all the way from Google coming to train us. And after this, we have each of us here is going to get a certificate. It's a very important program. You know now, social media is the way to go if you're doing your business. Announcement number 2. Leaders are to ensure that all their members kindly tidy up the place. All members, please make sure you tidy up the place. Number 3, copies of the opening ceremony will be available on CD by the Catholic Digest, only for 5 Ghana cedis. This evening, when we are showing a movie, we have a movie night today, so Catholic Digest will bring the CDs only for 5 Ghana cedis. And then we are also to gather the plastic chairs at the usual places if you have taken them far from where they are supposed to be. And then again, leaders are to make sure that the Google training, which is starting exactly at 1 p.m., all of them come in their numbers. We are wrapping up, and I'll hand over to my sister to do the rest. Thank you.
So we just had the vote of thanks, and before the vote of thanks, we had the Accountant General who spoke so passionately about corruption and every effort he's making to ensure that Ghana develops with the little resources that we have. I just want to run us through some history about the World Youth Day. The World Youth Day was initiated by Pope John Paul II in 1985. It was first celebrated in 1986, and at that event, bishops were asked to schedule an annual youth event on every Palm Sunday in their dioceses. However, at the international level, the event is held every 2 to 3 years at different locations. So far, the Mass in the Philippines set a world record for the largest number of people with 5 million attendees. Now, the 2019 international event will be hosted by Panama.
Okay, so some of the World Youth Day symbols, I would have my colleague here, Catherine Derry, take us through the World Youth Day symbols, the symbols that are on the logo of the World Youth Day. Miss Catherine, over to you.
Okay, so the World Youth Day, well, the symbols are accompanied by 2 symbols, that is a Holy Year cross and an icon of an Our Lady of Perpetual Help. During World Youth Day celebrations, these symbols are present on site for the main event. In preparation for the days, the symbols make a pilgrimage in the diocese which organizes the meeting for the next generation of young people. For the next generation of young people, these symbols indicate the true purpose of World Youth Day. Okay, we shall go for the closing prayer and continue.
God, our Heavenly Father, we thank you for calling us to be your own treasured possession. As we come to worship, pray, serve, and learn from one another, we ask that you take away any fear that hinders us from serving you fully and make us spirit-filled disciples. We pray for our nation and our leaders. We ask that you fill them with your spirit and make them leaders after your own heart. We pray for our parents, teachers, benefactors, the people we work with, those we hope to work with, and all you have placed over us. Guide them in all they do. We pray for all the youth in our various parishes and all the youth in Ghana. Make us bold and courageous in living out our faith as Mary was. We pray that you will be present in our celebration and bless all who contributed to a successful organization. We thank you for answered prayers in Jesus' name. Mary, Mother of the Church, the Martyrs of Uganda, Saint Aloysius Guzanga, Saint Maria Goretti, Saint John Paul II, Saint John Bosco, Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati, the Lord be with you. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Our help is in the name of the Lord. May the Almighty God bless you, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Thank you very much, Most Reverend Etiahene. We shall join the choir to sing our...
Chers auditeurs, auditrices de la radio catholique, la radio Angelus, nous sommes toujours à l'événement JMJ, journée mondiale des jeunes. C'est la version ghanéenne, la 4e version qui se...
We shall all remain standing while the dignitaries move and the recessional will be given. Jenkuye Brazo. I just remembered one point.
Chers auditeurs, auditrices de la radio Angelus, radio catholique du diocèse d'Accra. Je vous disais tout tantôt que vous êtes, nous sommes à Legon, à l'université de Legon, pour ce grand événement qui est la journée nationale, la journée mondiale de la jeunesse de Ghana, version ghanéenne, qui se tient, c'est la 4e édition, vous êtes à la 4e édition, et le thème est « N'aie pas peur, Marie, car la grâce, la faveur de Dieu est avec toi ». C'est tiré de Luc 1, verset 30. Et nous avons remarqué la présence de tous les évêques des différents diocèses et aussi la présence de nombreux jeunes qui sont là actuellement en train de jubiler. Et merci et restez toujours connectés avec nous.
So, Ms. Catherine, you would quickly take us through the meaning of the various symbols that make up the logo of the World Youth Day. You are being reminded that you are still logged on to www.radioangelus.accracatholic.org, the official radio station of the Catholic Archdiocese of Accra, where today we bring you live coverage, live reportage of the 4th Ghana version of the World Youth Day being held here at the University of Ghana, the premier university in Legon. Yes, so we'll move to our sister, Ms. Catherine Derry, to take us the various meaning of the symbols of the World Youth Day.
Okay, thank you very much, Martha. Before we went to take the prayer, we made mention of the World Youth Day symbols. And we said we have two symbols, which is the cross and the icon of Our Lady of Perpetual Help. Now, why do we have the symbols? These symbols are there as youth for us to have a deeper relationship with God. And the cross, I want to talk a bit about the cross. The cross, which is a wooden cross nowadays called the World Youth Day, was made in 1983 to celebrate the beginning of the Holy Year of Jubilee of the Redemption. So basically, that is a bit about the cross. Okay, so for the celebration during this period, the cross is taken to various deaneries for it to be adored, for us to know the essence of Jesus, to develop a deeper understanding of Jesus. And the icon of Our Lady of Perpetual Help, through the help of Saint John Paul II, urged the young people to have a closer relationship with Jesus through Mary. And he explained that Mary was given to us to help us enter into a more authentic and a more personal relationship with Jesus. So if we take a critical look, this year's theme, together with the symbol of the World Youth Day, was very essential and very necessary. So that is a bit about the symbols, the two symbols. That is the cross and the icon of the Perpetual Help.
Thank you very much, Catherine Derry. So that was the ever vivacious Miss Catherine Derry. Quickly, we'll take some interviews from some of the pilgrims who are present here at the University of Ghana Athletic Oval, where we bring you the live coverage of the 4th version of the Ghana World Youth Day, held here at the University of Ghana in Legon. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
May we know your name, please?
I'm called Rejoice Enyonam Amehi Dafamokbo.
From which diocese, please?
From Tamale Archdiocese.
From the Tamale Archdiocese.
Yes,
and then which deanery do you fall under?
Pardon
Which
me?
deanery do you fall under?
Osu Deanery.
Okay.
Deanery.
Okay. So, please, can you quickly give us a review of your impression so far of the World Youth Day celebration held here?
The World Youth Day celebration is a great one. This is my second time of participating at Cape Coast. I was there and I enjoyed the program. I had the opportunity of coming here today again to be part of it. I have learned a lot as a youth, as a mother, as a husband. Yesterday the talk we had concerning marriage is a great one. We have also learned how to take good care of ourselves, how to take good care of our husbands, our children. And here we are today for the opening ceremony, which was a great one. What I have learned is not to be afraid, for I have found a favor in the Lord, which has touched me so much. For now, I am going to stand for the truth. Not only to speak out the truth, but also to stand for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for making time to speak to us. We hope you enjoy the rest of the program. Thank you very much. Yes, we are still live and we are taking some interview from the Accountant General, Mr. Daniel Domelevu.
Hello. So, sir, you speak so passionate when you are talking about corruption. Why?
Because it's the bane of this country. If we don't control or eradicate corruption, we can't develop as a country. Can you imagine one person taking billions out of the public funds and using it? Hence, the medicine is not in the hospitals. School children don't have a place to learn, etc. So that is why I'm very worried about corruption.
What has brought us this far when it comes to corruption? What is the cause of it?
The corruption is part of human tendencies. The challenge in Ghana is that there is no consequences, dying consequences for taking public funds. And for that matter, it has become a practice which people think they have right to do. If you take public funds in some countries, try it in China, they will hang you because they think it is an offense against humanity. It doesn't affect one person, it affects a lot of people. Okay, so that is what I'm calling for. We may have to wake up as Ghanaians and say no, money meant for the consumption of the public must go to the public, not for individual. But more importantly, let me draw your attention to the fact that every public servant, including mine, our job is to serve the public, not our interests. We are to serve the public, hence we are called public servants. But in Ghana, you see public masters than public servants. And that's what the challenge is.
You made reference to professionals being the cause of when it comes to corruption. Them instead of doing the right thing, rather do the wrong thing. So then, how do we move forward?
Well, let me explain what I mean by the professionals being the cause of our corruption. You know, a professional engineer is supposed to ensure that the road is quality, the building is quality. The buildings are breaking whilst we are professionals because they compromise the quality for money. We have a professional accountant who is supposed to ensure that monies are used for only the intended purposes, but they compromise that for their own personal economic recovery program. And the solution is for Ghanaians to get up and say no longer will we allow you to use our resources, because the resources belong to the Ghanaians, it's not for the public sector. No longer can you go into public service to make money. If you want to make money, go to the private sector and set up your own business. But if you go to public sector, go there and serve.
You also made mention of about 45% of the resources of this country being used to pay for pension, which at the end of the day they are still working and then we are paying them. What has taken you so long for you to arrive at this issue?
It has not taken us long to arrive at this. That's the reality on the ground. The reality on the ground is that we are wasting too much money paying public servants and spending money on public servants instead of them serving the public interest. I hope you hear it every day. Nurses are threatening strike, doctors are threatening strike, teachers are threatening strike. They don't think the need to serve is any longer important. Everybody goes to public service to make money. So I'm a teacher. Instead of serving to ensure that we improve the education in this country, I'm looking for money. I'm a doctor. Instead of serving the public, I'm looking for money. So that is the challenge. People have seen public service as a machinery to make money instead of a place where to serve. That is my problem.
Do you see yourself as a politician?
Myself, I'm holding a professional position. I'm not holding a political position. In fact, the day they declare the Auditor General's office a political position, I'll resign that very day. I don't want to be in politics.
Why do I ask that? Because at the end of the day, you are working with politicians. And some will say that the politicians are the cause of our woods. So what do you do about it?
Actually, that is the role of the Auditor General, to hold them accountable.
But you hold them accountable and then their leaders will save them from it.
Well, and that is why I am talking to my fellow Ghanaians, because we are about 28 million. We far outnumber the politicians. If we all say it must be this, that must be it. We have the right at least to vote them out of office. We have the right to call for their resignation. We have the right to hold them accountable. It's only when, like I said, we keep quiet, then the evildoers, they triumph. That's why I'm saying that let's get up and say, no, we all know you. You went into public office 2 years. You have become so rich. Why? Where did you get the money from? You can't do that. Declare your assets to us. We want to know what you have. How did you get it? Otherwise, it must be taken away from you.
So what would you say with a lot of number of youth who don't have jobs, looking for jobs? Does the auditor also takes in place of creating jobs for the youth?
I cannot employ people except those who can work in my office only. But that's why I'm on a crusade to clean the national payroll. To say if we remove the ghosts, then we can save money to recruit my young boys and girls who have nothing to do. So that's the role I can play. And of course, I am not God. So I don't know where the ghosts are. But you people, you know where the ghosts are. So when my team comes to your regions, please help us. I know this guy. He was a teacher. He's now a banker. His name is still on the payroll. Then we delete from the payroll.
Thank you so much, sir.
You too. All the best.
Thank you.
So my colleague just finished talking to the Accountant General, Mr. Daniel Domelevu. So he's now going to talk to Reverend Father Gabriel Atido Agambire, who is the Vicar General of Navrungu and Bolgatanga Diocese.
We are here with your youth. So far, you've gone through the mission week. What are your? How do you feel about the program so far?
Honestly, I came only. My bishop was here before me, and I'm just replacing him because he's leaving. So I don't know about what happened at the mission week. But today, just observing, one, the fact that the youth are so enthusiastic about the program is very impressive and heartwarming. And then two, all the messages that were delivered today, I think are very, especially what the Archbishop Palma Bokul gave to us, is very good message for young people to reflect on. One of the MCs picked up something about responsibility, and I think that young people have to recognize the value that they have inside them, at the same time to be able to recognize what responsibility that brings, especially that they should contribute to the growth of the church. And I'm hoping that this program, as we go on, is going to produce that kind of fruit in the parishes, going up into the dioceses, and to bring transformation in our country.
Let me ask you, coming from Navrungu Bolgatanga Diocese, we have a lot of youths coming from that place to Accra, seeking for greener pastures. What is the church doing in making sure that we stop the youth from coming to Accra, doing Kayayu and then less jobs, so that at the end of the day, maybe they can stay there and then do farming and other things, which are more of importance to us?
Because of the lack of resources, we are unable to do big things, but we have started with modest ways of helping. An example is that we built a dam in an area in Zebla, in the Boku West district, which in a place called Tili, and that has helped a lot of young people to stay back in the dry season for onion farming. They produce a lot of onions there. Right now, in collaboration with the Holy Child Sisters, there's a program being set up in Bolga to give vocational training to young people, and the target actually is young people, girls especially, who are most likely to leave the district, the region, to come down for greener pastures. There are other programs relating to the youth office. I don't know if you are aware of this program called NISIFOP. So our youth office is working on a program of training entrepreneurs. We are in the process now of revamping a youth training center, and we have funding to be able to help young people to come up with entrepreneurial skills and other vocational skills to be able to take care of themselves. At the same time, we are trying to link up mostly with the district assemblies to be able to come up with programs of that kind. These are things that are not immediate, so you don't see the fruits immediately. But we are praying that as time goes on, these little things that are being done will produce fruits. Also, we have just had a new youth chaplain, and he looks to me, by my judgment, enthusiastic to come up with programs that will help the youth. And if we work together with him, certain things will be able to change. This does not mean that we are solving the problem, but most of the issues, a big part of the issue, the solution to these challenges will have to come from the government. It shouldn't just be mouth service, like propaganda that some of us feel are going on, but something should happen on the ground that would also help these activities to help the young people to get jobs and stay at home.
How is the youth involvement in Navrongo-Bolgatanga Diocese?
I would say that, as you can see, when the MC was asking, by hands, those from Navrongo-Bolgatanga Diocese, you would notice that we have a big chunk. I attended the one in Cape Coast, and it was the same thing. So our young people are very enthusiastic, and a lot of church leadership is being held by these young people. I'm running a parish that is a young parish, and most of the leaders in the church are youth. You go to the outstations, it is young people that are running a lot of things. So already, that is why I think it's the Archbishop who said the youth are not the future of the church, but the present of the church. That is why I think that saying is very important, because we cannot keep postponing the youth's activity and their contribution to the church to tomorrow. It's now, and it is being practically observed in a lot of places.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. God bless your activities.
That was Reverend Father Gabriel Atido Agambire, Vicar General of Navrongo-Bolgatanga Diocese. So we want to talk to we are still talking to few of our people, especially the priest here. We have Reverend Father Joseph Saki, the communications director of the Archdiocese of Tamale. He has some few words for us. We are still live from the University of Ghana, Legon. This is Radio Angelus, where we are broadcasting to you the fourth version of Ghana World Youth Day 2008, being hosted by the Accra Archdiocese.
Joseph Saki with us from the Tamale Diocese. You are the communication officer. Let me ask you, first of all, how is the youth involvement in the Tamale Diocese?
In all aspects of life, the youth of Tamale have been doing so greatly, coming from the various societies, the CYO, the Costrans, and the various groups that are around. Most of them are also partaking in the choir, ushering, and doing all sorts of things in the diocese. So they are doing very, very well. And we are happy that most of them, about 170 of them, are here with us in Accra to celebrate this fourth edition of the World Youth Day Ghana version. We hope that experiences of other dioceses will also be acquired by them, most especially in networking these days that many people are doing a lot. We hope that most of them will get affiliated to their brothers and sisters in other dioceses, and that will help them so much to do a lot in our diocese.
So Father, let me ask you, you coming here, you've participated in the mission weeks, which began last week Friday, and then we've zoomed into the What Do You There proper itself. How has the experience been so far for you?
It has been marvelous. Especially we were in Osudinri, and we were hosted in St. Charles Thomas Aquinas Secondary School, where we're hosted by Reverend Father. I think
Evans.
Yes, Reverend Father Evans. And also we have some of the deanery fathers that came around. Father Atta was there, Father Newman was there, Father Emmanuel Mary was there. So we had a very nice time with them. We had games, we went on excursions, visited many places in Accra. And most of our participants were very happy to have them because some of them even haven't tasted the sea before. And they went, fed some of the water to taste, to see how salty the sea was. So it was really great. It was really great. And for now, we've also come into the bigger contest where we have other dioceses all surrounding us. We are happy to be around, and I know that by the close of the day, most of the experiences that we will take away will not be that of we came and we didn't see anything or didn't do anything, but it will be much appreciated by all.
Thanks so much, Father Joseph Sagi.
I still would want to mention the fact that the Accountant General is so passionate about fighting corruption, and so he's asking us to help him. So what the appeal he made is that when he comes to our region and we know anyone who is not supposed to be on the payroll, we should ensure that such a person is given out, so his name or her name is taken out. He is asking us to assist him to fight corruption, at least to the level that will be better than what we have now. We still have some pilgrims here that we would want to talk to, but before we start talking to them, I just want to run us through some of the themes that we've had so far, especially from the year 2012 to date. In the year 2012, we had rejoice in the Lord always, from Philippians chapter 4 verse 4, and also from.
So I have with me Sister Francisca Apia HDR. Sister, so far it's just like, let's talk about vocation. When it comes to women's vocation, it is actually dying. Is it true?
With the vocation, normally it deals with the youth. So this is a nice opportunity for me to be here to also let the youth know that it's not only for marriage, but also for priesthood and religious life. And having most of the Catholic youth here, some hardly get in touch with sisters, but since they have the opportunity of coming here, we also have to make ourselves available so that they will know us, and then we draw some closer to God so that they will respond to the call.
When we speak to our ladies, they say that they don't see their sisters doing anything, so they don't feel like becoming Reverend Sisters. What do you actually do? What's the life of a Reverend Sister like?
See, sometimes when they say they don't see what the sisters do, I don't understand them. With the ministerial priesthood, yes, is to celebrate Mass for us, offer sacrifice, and now it's in the work that we do. So I am a teacher. I teach at Pope John SHS, a minor seminary. Yeah, so I proclaim the word by what I do as a teacher. So the children I'm supposed to have is what I have sacrificed in order to have many more, to care for them and give them the love that I would have given to my children. So I have many children that I evangelize.
So let me ask you, so far, what have you taken out of this What You Day?
I think this place is spacious as compared to last 3 years in Cape Coast, because it was indoors and many of the youth couldn't get a chance to be there for the opening ceremony. So I think some of them didn't hear what was said. But this one, because we were all around, I'm sure everybody had the opportunity of hearing whatever was said. And I think everything that is being said is good, especially with the youth going out and even responding to the call of religious life and priesthood. Some people entertain fears. So it's very difficult for them to say yes when they feel being called. But now that we are being told that we should not be afraid, meaning we're going to get most of the youth taking away fears and responding to the call into priesthood and religious life.
What is this I see in your hand? What is
This one is just a card with a prayer for vocation and then my address. So those who want to become sisters of the handmaids of the Divine Redeemer of Accra, I give it to them or to any lady who feels being called, so that if they want to get in touch, they can easily call me on phone. Then I journey with them.
So in a minute, if, tell us about the society, Handmaids of the Divine Redeemer, HDR.
Handmaids of the Divine Redeemer of Accra is a congregation founded by Most Reverend Joseph Oliver of blessed memory. SVD, yeah, thank you. He founded the congregation to help in the apostolate of the then Accra diocese. So we are the daughters of the Accra diocese, and we are supposed to help by our work as teachers, nurses. Some are caterers, some are also seamstresses, so the vestments and all other things. And then we render catering services in the various schools too. We have some sisters in the university as lecturers, and then also we also operate. We have studio operation at Olafas Christ the King. We do many. If you want to be a sister, when you get in touch, we don't select, we don't go one way. So whatever you have and you want to serve the Lord with, when you come, we'll be able to help you to also serve the Lord in that manner.
Thank you so much, Sister Apia HDR. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
So that was Reverend Sister Francisca Apia, Handmaids of Divine Redeemer and teacher at the Pope Jones SHS and Seminary. Yes, briefly we are going to also talk to some pilgrims from the Rioso diocese, Before Reverend Sister spoke to us, I was taking us through the themes that we've had so far. 2014, we had blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, which is taken from Matthew chapter 5 verse 3. We also had 2015, blessed are the pure in heart, for they
So I
will
have
see
some sisters
God.
and brothers from the Rioso diocese here, and we are going to ask them about their expectation, whether their expectation has been. So we have some brothers and sisters from the Rioso diocese. We are going to ask them their expectations so far, whether they've enjoyed the program or not. So you tell me your name and then you tell me your experience so far.
My name is Joyce Ajokun. I can speak.
Okay.
Your friend is Joyce Ajokun. My sister she also
I'm so far program no who is saying.
Just many say we share a program now. Ya na nipa bebre inform ho nhim. But the mabe hu ne ne no, enu nti ne ne wo mu yi mi se memra no. Wo mu se me ye youth ba me kan kwazura fo. Ba wo mu yi mi se memra no me ne chia ma. Me hu de menye. Nti de me ko mi kwakante me nuanom. Youth no mu asafo ne mu se, obi amfa ne ho nhyem. Na ya nsoma urade a wote ase. Na pasa na nipa nyina be hu ye ne baba papa ye ye no asafo ne mu. E da ase.
But also your first saying.
Maybe
Group Ben are representing what has here.
We also diocese.
We also diocese, but society Ben are
like Catholic youth. Is it Catholic program or what?
Society Ben are showing.
Oh, me Merku.
Oh, Merku. It is so far program no happen. I hope so about a mission week nibi. And for that, didn't Ben Amokoye.
Question.
Didn't Ben Amokoda, and Fanamoda.
I call
Atraco, okay. It is so far program way that in our with him.
Okay, Monsieur, no matter because me baby that my first timer, me de ababi, no. It's many Japan or in summer, yen pain for no edit to drama and I mean, say you to know so. I was say, Bibi, why dear who shame. Ama asore no and that pain for the back on I so abba. Until say Bibi a dear who shame. But many Japan, and I'm saying, and see me birthday. See, I'm many Japan.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, but so it's where there. You better for Anthony man no about man. Okay, please.
So my colleague just finished speaking to some
Bonjour, mon frère Yaou Perrin. Vous nous venez directement du Bénin. Nous allons vous arracher quelques mots. Quelles sont vos impressions par rapport à l'événement de cette année, JMJ, Journée mondiale des jeunes, mais qui est la version ghanéenne? Vous êtes venu directement pour participer à cette journée. Donnez-nous vos impressions.
Je crois que nous sommes tous très satisfaits. Nous sommes tous très satisfaits de cette rencontre. Et c'est une grande joie pour nous d'être parmi les jeunes ghanéens et de partager la culture ghanéenne, de connaître les réalités du Ghana et de vivre avec les gens de notre âge. À vrai dire, ce sont des choses auxquelles nous n'avons pas toujours l'occasion de participer. Mais pour une fois que nous y participons, nous trouvons et pensons que c'est une très bonne chose. Et puisque nous voyons ça déjà ici, ça nous permettra, quand nous serons prêts aussi, de reproduire ça au pays.
D'accord. Donc vous avez bien dit que vous êtes séminariste, c'est ça?
Oui.
Vous êtes séminariste en théologie.
Exactement.
Quelles sont vos ambitions? Quand vous voyez les bishops qui sont arrivés, bien habillés, tout ça, vous pensez que vous allez finir les études au séminaire? Parce qu'on voit qu'il y a beaucoup qui après le séminaire font autre chose. Bon, je sais pas.
Et j'avoue que le séminaire est toujours très difficile.
Oui.
Mais avec la grâce de Dieu, on compte y arriver. Pour nous qui sommes en train d'aller en deuxième année de théologie, il nous reste juste 3 ans pour finir. Alors on ne peut que compter sur la grâce de Dieu pour bien finir. Et voilà. Notre ambition, c'est juste d'être prêtre et de travailler pour le salut des âmes.
Dieu merci. Maintenant, vous avez dit que vous êtes de passage. C'est comment? Vous pouvez nous expliquer un peu?
Oui.
Comment vous avez appris qu'il y avait GMJ ou bien vous êtes venu spécialement pour ça?
Non, nous sommes venus surtout pour apprendre l'anglais. Pour nous francophones, pour apprendre l'anglais. Et notre recteur, celui qui est venu avec nous et qui nous accompagne, le père Grégoire Adouaï, qui est venu avec nous, il a voulu qu'on participe à cette journée de jeunes pour mieux connaître la culture, pour mieux nous imprégner des réalités du milieu et pour, pourquoi pas, échanger et garder des liens qui vont nous aider à améliorer notre style de langue anglaise.
Donc vous êtes là pour combien de mois ou bien combien d'années?
Nous sommes là pour 1 mois.
On a déjà fait juste 1 mois.
Oui.
D'accord. Ok, you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
French colleague, my French colleague just finished interviewing someone. I still have a pilgrim here from Gossip. His name is Ose Robert. Ose Robert would want to speak Chi. Mr. Ose, so far no one has a program. Who want to say?
Oh, program in fact, very very good, very very successful. In fact, so the program no city no, Carol Church no yeah, Asoribia, Universal Church.
Okay.
And it's in a member of Mumira, Yake Wopum, will be Memphis, will be free BA, will be for Western, will be for Upper West, but Wahunua, what you say in Yabacopa, or Nenam, in Yimubia Nim program I buy. So for be a behu be our come. Bishop will be a behu be our come. It's a program with in fact are very very successful.
Yeah, me say. Osha and Bruna, and Sunday Brea Yakaya, open say, your challenges and answer your problems with Brea and Kayanya and Yampeni for Beshamaye.
problem bɛ na wo hwɛ a wo bɛpɛ sɛ wobɛka ho asɛm sɛ yɛbɛ ɛhwɛ so ama yɛn. Yo mini amidase dia mi metimi aka ho asɛm kakra ne sɛ mɛburu a yɛwɔ Roma asɔre yɛwɔ Ghana afana nyina no bebredi adwuma yɛ ɛno nti yɛbɛsrɛ Catholic Bishop Conference sɛ adwuma bi ba saa no a ɔmommoa yɛn na mɛbu no wɔ Roma asɔre no yɛtumi nya binyɛ yɛtumi nya ahoɔden anya sika to obotom yɛtumi de aboa asɔre no. Ɛyɛ ampa nanso wobɛhu sɛ nansɛ no yɛkasa bebree fa nsano nnwuma ho anaasɛ sɛne yɛ ankasa yɛbɛpɛ ɛkwan bi so na yɛapɛ sika a ɛno nso no ɛbɛboa ɔman no nti mbɛburu no de asɛm na wowɔ ɛma wɔ mo ɛfa nsano nnwuma ho anaasɛ kwan a ɔmbɛfa so apɛ wɔn ankasa adwuma a ɛyɛ adeɛ a yɛfrɛ no entrepreneurship. Yɛntwɛn sɛ obi mbɛfrɛ yɛn sɛ bra na bɛyɛ adwuma ma yɛn nanso wa wobɛyɛ wɔ adwuma na woanya wo sika. Mini adeɛ woka no ɛyɛ nokorɛ sɛ wawɔ wo sa no adwuma a ɛduru baabi a ɛboa wa ankasa ɛboa abusua awom ɛboa asɔre nkora awom mefa sɛ for example sɛ ebi a meyɛ farmer na ba sɛ yɛbɛyɛ program sei na sɛ mehwɛ m'adwuma a meyɛ no a improvement a ɛba no metimi anya sika ni bi de aboa asɔre no ɛti mikasa kyerɛ me nua mmabura ɔmo wɔ ewiase afa na nyina especially Ghana mmeranteɛ ne mabaawa sɛ obiara nyere ne ho na pensa no dwuma bi a ebetimi aboa ama ne nnwuma atimi akɔ n'anim. Medase Mr. Ose Robert Ofri Goso Diocese Nyamisha okwa medase yo yedase Koswana enjoy yen programs no. We are still having some few interviews.
So I have with me Reverend Father and Alphonse Boloro and then Eddie Ayem. They are both part of the planning committee for this celebration. So Father, so far would you say is a success?
Yeah, so far I would say it has been a success. Yesterday things went well. Today it has been great. We give thanks to God. We hope for better things to come, and we hope that by the close of everything, we will give glory to God and say that God has really helped us. Yeah.
So Father is the Assistant Youth Chaplain and Director, Vocations Director of the Catholic Archdiocese of Accra. Eddie Ayem is part of the committee. Eddie, so far so good.
Yeah, so far so good.
What has been the challenge so far?
I don't think I want to be counting challenges. I think that God has been good and everything is going largely by and large according to plan.
According to plan, but let me ask you, how many youth do we have? How many youth are here from all the 20 archdioceses and dioceses in Ghana?
We have a little over 3,000 youth from across the county.
And how many youth were you expecting?
Actually, we're expecting about 5,000 youth. Our little disappointment has been in the attendance by the Accra Archdiocese, the youth from the Accra Archdiocese. But hey, it's okay.
Would you say that the day is young because we just started the What Do They proper itself? We have Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday to go.
Well, the World Youth Day is not World Youth Day if you have only one day experience. We expect everybody to be part of it from the beginning to the end. So yes, I think we are well into the program and it's good.
So Father, what went into the choosing of the team for this celebration?
You mean what went into the
choosing of the team for the theme for this celebration?
You know, the theme came from the Holy Father. You know, last year we dwelt on Luke chapter 1 verse 49. Mother Mary praising God for what He has done for her, and then this year we're still building upon that, looking at Luke chapter 1 verse 30. Do not be afraid, for you have found favor with God. So it's a theme that we picked from Mother Mary's experience with the Lord. And this time we want our youth to know that they are not to be afraid, just like Mother Mary. They have found favor with God, and going into the future, or even the present, they should still be strong and trust in God. As the Archbishop said, our youth are the present. And they are not so to speak the future, they are the present. And so they should not be afraid, like Mother Mary.
Father, can you run us through the rest of the program for the celebration? Well, let me ask you first. Would we have confessions?
Yes, priests will be around. Priests will make themselves available for confessions, and those who are ready to confess their sins, they will be attended to. Yeah.
So how would that be done?
We would let the MCs or the organizers let the participants know when priests are available. They can go to them. You know, they came with their chaplains too, so their chaplains can help in that regard. And they have masses, devotions in the various halls. So they can take the opportunity to meet their chaplains in the various halls and have their confessions. Yeah.
Eddie, let me ask you. So what are we having after the Google training?
After the Google training, we have a movie night. Yeah.
Which movie are we showing? Is it the Pusha one that we know?
It's a secret.
It's a secret. And then what goes tomorrow? What are we having tomorrow?
So tomorrow we'll have catechesis. Our various prelates will be available at various venues. So interact with us on issues of our faith. And this is a very important aspect of the program, where we get to interact with the prelates, the bishops, on issues of our faith and our doctrine. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We'll continue with the interview as the program goes on. Thank you so much, Father.
You are still listening to Radio Angelus from the University of Ghana, Legon.
Why,